Time. It is a tricky thing. Measured objectively, but experienced subjectively, your hours can feel like days or like minutes depending on who you are and what you are doing. But most can agree that at some point in time, they have felt like they didn't have enough of it. Merge this with the pressure of needing to get a project done, and suddenly you can start feeling very unsure of yourself as a visual artist. In this video, I'm going to give you 5 time management tips that you can implement as a photographer or videographer. Tip number 1 is to time yourself. And I don't mean literally whip out a timer and time yourself, although you can, but what I mean is to get an idea of the average time that it takes you to complete a project. Because if you don't know how long it takes for you to complete a certain task, then it's kind of hard to manage your own time. Tip number 2 is to set realistic expectations. So for this, I'm talking about paid projects. When you're talking to a client and you are giving them an estimated turnaround, now that you know how long it takes on average for you to complete certain projects, you know what kind of time estimate to give them. But I will say you should be generous to yourself when giving them a time estimate. For me personally, I know that I can turn around a photo shoot in 2 days, but I always tell my client 1 week because that gives me some time in case something else comes up or if I get another booking. I give myself plenty of time, and if I deliver the gallery early, then suddenly I'm exceeding expectations rather than missing a deadline. Tip number 3 is to integrate scheduling software. Personally, I use Google Calendar, Acuity, and Calendly. So Google Calendar is Google's calendar. I don't know how else to explain it. If you have a Gmail, then you have a Google Calendar. And the reason why I like to use mine is that it's super easy to sync and integrate with other apps, including Acuity and Calendly. So for Acuity, it is Squarespace's scheduling software, and I essentially have it hooked up to my Squarespace website so that when someone books, it's automatically put into my calendar, and because it is synced with my Google Calendar, I can automatically see it there as well. And what I like about Acuity is you can actually set up your settings so that you have X amount of time blocked off before or after certain appointment types. And it just helps me kind of keep everything in check and make sure that I'm not double booking. And for Calendly, it's kind of similar in that you don't have to worry about double booking stuff and you can sync it to your Google Calendar. But what Calendly is good for is Zoom calls. So if you're going to be doing any kind of video consultations with clients where you might be Zoom calling them to discuss their project, then you can send them your Calendly link and say, hey, book whatever time works best for you. And because Calendly is automatically synced with my Google Calendar, the appointment times that it shows are what's available according to my Google Calendar. So I don't have to worry about double booking. And I could also put time blocks in my Google Calendar that say, hey, I'm busy, and I won't have to worry about anything getting booked during that time. So scheduling software, look into it. It helps to kind of delegate certain tasks like that to technology so that it frees up more time for you to get stuff done. Tip number 4 is don't overbook. I know that the idea of having so many bookings that you almost don't know what to do with yourself sounds like you're living the dream, but the last thing you want to do is to overbook yourself to the point that you are stretched so thin that the quality of your product goes down. So keep in mind what it takes for you to complete a project on average and how much you are actually able to take on based on your own limitations. We are all only human, you know? And if you feel any kind of financial pressure to take on more bookings than you can handle, then that is a sign that you need to raise your prices. And yeah, you will book less by raising your prices, but the price should balance out the projects that are lost because of the increase of prices, and then that gives you more time to really deliver a quality product at the end. Before we move on to the very last tip, I would like to remind you to give this video a thumbs up if you think it deserves one, and to hit that subscribe button if you want to become a Voyager and join me on this journey of personal development and creative expression. And yeah, let's go back to the video now. Tip number 5 is to plan your project. And this can be for a video project, a photography project, a paid project, a personal project, any kind of project. Go in with a plan. Know what kind of shots you are trying to get roughly. Even though in the moment you might come up with new ideas, awesome. Having some kind of structure going into it really takes the pressure off of you. For instance, if I'm doing a sunset shoot with a couple, my plan of attack is usually to go in, have them do standing poses first, any kind of standing movement, and then I move on to seated poses, and then finally I end with lay down poses, so that way if their clothes get dirty, I don't even have to worry about it. It's the end of the shoot and the dirt won't be in other photos. So going in with a plan really takes the pressure off of me time-wise, and also being prepared and knowing your location before you go in and shoot, so you know which areas you're going to take them, really helps. Because when that sun's down, it's down and you can't really do anything about it. So yeah, that is it for this video. I hope you learned something. If you did, don't forget to give it a thumbs up. And until next time, bye. We'll be right back.